Rome Total War starts in the year 270 BC, in the era of the Polybian reforms, a time when Rome was not fully unified, but rather mostly a collection of military allies, known as soci, basically vassal swarm. A Roman legion at the start date would comprise of a variety of units, each serving a different purpose at a different time. The main 5 units at the start were as follows: Velites, Equites, Hastati, Principes and Triarii. Luckily, each of these units is portrayed in-game. The Roman army used the triplex axis structure, making this very simple to recreate. Velites hold the front, Hastati behind, Principes behind them, and lastly holding the back line, only to be used as a last resort, the Triarii. Then they would have the Roman cav, the Equites, hold down the right flank. This is where the soci comes into play. Rome's allies would have to recruit local troops to bolster the army further, supplying the overall numbers, overall doubling the army's size. These units would often hold the flanks. Allied cavalry would hold the left flank, usually containing 3 times more troops than Roman cav on the right. These are not accessible in custom battles, but it is possible to reflect this in campaign. But we are not done yet. One unique aspect of the Roman structure was the fact that it had gaps in its formation, but used that as its strength. It was designed for troops to easily be able to move around, such as the Velites, who can easily retreat through these gaps back to cover, if need be, without messing up the formation. Sadly, however, this is not possible to do in-game, as units retreat all over the place and don't use the gaps. However, if you want to have a slightly more historically accurate feel to a legion, then maybe try have hoplites at the back line instead of Triarii. Triarii were historically a phalanx unit. The game portrays them accurately, and Triarii certainly did not have spears at the length of hoplites. Although that being said, neither did hoplites. Yet still, they did fight in phalanx formation, so mercenary hoplites is also another option to go for, if you want it to feel accurate. However, the real accuracy is with the Triarii. Of course, this is not a perfectly accurate Roman legion. This is merely the closest you can get to an accurate Roman legion in-game at the start date. That is all. Historically, in the year 17 BC, the Marian reforms hit, and that changed everything. The Hastati, Principes, Triarii system was removed, and each soldier was standardised, plus a load of other changes to army life and recruitment, but the important part for this video is just the layout. First of all, most of the army becomes a spam of a single unit, which would start with early legionary cohorts. Then it will upgrade later into the game to legionary cohorts. 10 cohorts, no more, no less. However, the first cohort is different, and these also do appear in-game. Historically, they were larger and made up of the higher rank soldiers. In-game, they provide a morale boost, so it would be good to have one of these on the field also. At no point in the campaign should you really recruit Praetorians or urban cohorts for field work, if you're playing the 100% historically accurate route, that is. Urban cohorts defended the city and acted more like a police force, and Praetorians were imperial guards. In addition to this, the Soci were replaced with auxilia units, which in-game are auxiliary spearmen and auxiliary archers. The archers would stand at the front and will pull back as the enemy gets too close, and the spearmen, if used, would also be on the front to defend the archers from a surprise cav charge, and will then pull back to act as reserves later, or maybe deal with the horsemen. The third and final auxiliary unit is the Roman cavalry. Romans recruited these from regions they conquered, so the cav would be mercenary based, mostly, for your campaigns that you are recreating accurately in-game, or as close to accurate as possible. There was no real set objectives or amount when it came to these auxiliary units. By the time of the Empire, 30 BC, the cavalry was still recruited from foreign places, but became Romanized. At this point, it would be accurate for you to recruit Roman cavalry and legionary cavalry. However, the chances are you've already beaten the game by that point. The player may also wish to include a unit of war dogs in the campaign. War dogs, historically, were mostly used to run down fleeing soldiers. What I love about Rome Total War is that these are the only units that can chase enemies off the map, outside of the red battle line. Just one nice historical touch there. I like that. And last but not least, do you equip a ballista? Well, historically, after the 1st century AD, yes. However, as most of the game takes place in the BC era, generally speaking the answer would be no. But they were used on occasion. And that says quite a bit about this structure. This is just a typical example of Roman legions from different times, portrayed in-game. Of course, when it was called for, changes were made, even if only slight. The numbers in-game are incorrect. I tried to get the ratios as close as possible, but due to gameplay limitations, those are also shown incorrectly. This video is simply trying to teach you how to do it, giving some historical background here and there. I hope you learnt something. Most of my sources do come from online, YouTube, forums, and yes, even Wikipedia, but in topics like these, they mostly agreed with each other 100% of the time. Yet still, this was all backed up by books. Books such as Rubicon and In the Name of Rome, two very good books. Both you can find links in the description for down below. If you were to buy either of those books from that link in the description, that same link, then I get a 5% cut. Just saying. And of course, another source of mine is a variety of documentaries that I have watched over time. That is all. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learnt something. Subscribe for more historical Total War content. Share with any Rome fan you think may be interested, and check out my other historical videos. But for now, goodbye.